I found 2 loaves of bran bread on sale, so I'm making bread pudding with lots of fruit in it. First thing you need is a blender and a big bowl. I'm going to turn all these slices of bread into breadcrumbs, except for one. Take one slice at a time, break it up a little bit, put it into the blender, and that on. Oops, got it. Okay, there we go. Come on. Once you've made it into breadcrumbs, just pour it in a bowl and continue going with the rest of the slices. As you can see, I've now turned both bags into breadcrumbs with one slice left over. That's going to be toast with Marmite tomorrow morning. Next, I take 200 to 250 milliliters of raisins, pour them on top. Next, I get the walnuts, about 200 to 250 milliliters, but I'm not pouring them in yet. I want to crush them first. So what I do is I take the empty bread bag, pour the walnuts inside, and then get my roller out. Good thing, and then just crush them by hand. And when that's ready, I just take my bowl and I pour these on top. Okay. That's the walnuts now. Next I put in the blueberries. Now this bag is 180 grams. I'm going to use about half of it. So some bags are 200 grams. So I usually use about 90 to 100 grams of blueberries. So I just estimate about half of them. That should be good. And just take the other half and put it back in the freezer. Next I take one apple and I peel it. And I'm going to put it into the blender. Get a knife out, chop it up a little bit. Get the core out, just cut it up a little bit. Okay, so that's one apple in there. Now I take 2 bananas and I'll put those into the blender too. Okay, apples and bananas. Okay, next I'm going to put in about half a teaspoon of cloves, allspice, cinnamon and nutmeg. Now I could measure it out, but I've done this many times before. I know how much it is. That's good. Okay, and I pour the eggs in. 2 eggs. And about 75 milliliters of extra virgin olive oil. Now I've said before in videos that these cups are really good because they hold 100 milliliters. So I'll fill this up about 3/4 full. Okay, add that. And the orange juice. Now I add about 300 milliliters of orange juice to this. 1, 2. Okay, we ran out of orange juice. Alright. Luckily I have some apple juice. Let's put some apple juice in instead. $300 milliliters of any sort of fruit juice is fine. Okay, now let's blend this up. Lid on tight. Looks nice and frothy. I'm going to set the oven now for 180 degrees Celsius. And now I'm going to mix this all together. This is why I use 11 slices of bread and not 12, because I've got this right to the brim. Whoa, whoops. Ah, I was lucky there. Let's get all that goodness out. And now just stir it all around. Mix it all together. Until all the breadcrumbs have soaked into the liquid. Now it's tempting to say, well, it's still kind of dry. I think I should use a little bit more liquid. First of all, just mix it up thoroughly before you do that, because it can be deceptive. I know I've thought that, and then added some more liquid, and it's come out too wet, too soggy. Okay, and all the breadcrumbs now have been moistened. Moistening is good. I got a nice Pyrex dish here, and I just pour it all into here. Okay, this is what it looks like once you've put it into the dish. Now I'm just going to pat it down. If you see any raisins or blueberries sticking up, just push them down underneath, because otherwise they'll get burnt. So just flatten it out now. Get down. You too. And you. Yeah. And now what you want to do is you just want to stroke it. So you're getting nice ridges. Looks like a Japanese stone garden. Now what I find though is, because this is pretty thick, the center can often not cook properly. So what I like to do is, after I've finished all of this stroking, I like to get the fork and go dead center and just make a little hole. Oops, I stabbed a raisin. Just make a little hole there, just so the heat can get down inside as well. And then just pat it down again. Okay, and it is ready to go into the oven. I just put the bread pudding in the oven at a temperature of 180 degrees Celsius, and it's going to cook for 80 minutes. That's a long time, but it's going to be worth it when it comes out. Oh, look at that. Got a nice crispy topping on that. Looking forward to eating. Going to let it cool down for a little bit first. A corner piece with a nice blueberry smack dab in the middle. Thank you very much, and I will see you in my next cooking video. Hopefully it won't take as long as it did to make this one.